Welcome to UNCAGED, the show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we're speaking with Heather McLeod. Hello, Heather. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very, very well. I'm excited to get into this. Heather is the Chief Marketing Officer for Authority brands that have great names like the Cleaning Authority, America's Swimming Pool Company, Mosquito Squad, Home Watch Caregivers, 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, Mr. Sparky Electric, Monster Tree Service, Service Team of Professionals Restoration, Duty Calls. Oh my God. I don't want to leave any out. Color World House Painting and Woofies. Did I get them all? I don't know.
I've talked about I need to tattoo them on my arm so I can remember because the list just keeps growing.
Well, I tell you, these are great brands, and I'm excited to get into the story of what you guys are doing at Authority Brands. But before we get there, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been in the little niche market of home service franchising for about 13 years now. Which is getting to the point where I don't really like to say it out loud anymore, how long it's been. But I came to Authority Brands before it was Authority Brands. It was just one brand. It was the Cleaning Authority. And with the team that was in place there, we started the process of building a platform to acquire other successful franchise brands, to put them all under one roof, to share some back office and some best practices. And long story short, that's turned into 12 brands in the home service space with, I'm sure, several more to go this year and probably some more into next year too.
Yeah. So, I mean, what a ride. What a great story where you start with one brand and then you see this whole new model appear and you're able to take it out there to the marketplace. Tell me a little bit about what you're seeing now with Authority Brands and what you guys are focused on.
Yeah, so, back when we first started the process of acquiring other really solid franchise brands, there wasn't a lot of private equity play in franchising. There wasn't a lot of consolidation. And now it is the complete opposite. So kind of what we're seeing now is a need to get into what we're calling emerging brands. So brands that maybe aren't as established in terms of number of locations or time that they've been franchising, but they align with the principles and the characteristics that we look for in a brand. And so what we're seeing is we're actually buying brands earlier in their lifespan than what we had kind of historically as we were first starting, and really using kind of the best practices from across the brands to help those emerging brands scale and grow faster than they would be able to if they continue to operate on their own.
Yeah, and I can only imagine, what an interesting time to be working in the home services space where, we've been going through the lovely pandemic and probably a lot of changes in the space. What are the kind of big trends you're seeing in your market?
Yeah, I think more than ever, people have come to realize that the one thing that they cannot get any more of is time. And if there are things that they can't do or don't like to do, or really things that they would rather spend their time doing, then outsourcing home services is a really great area for people to get a little time back. And now more than ever, people aren't as commonly skilled in some of the trades, right? Like maybe 40, 50 years ago, everyone knew a little bit about electrical work and maybe a little bit about plumbing, and it's just a different world now. So we're seeing really a renaissance of home service companies being really successful in not only kind of the major spaces like plumbing, HVAC, electric, house cleaning, but even like what would have previously been considered like a fringe service. One of our brands is Duty Calls, and they will come over and clean up your yard after your dog. And that's a very kind of specific service. But people are trying to find a little bit more time to do what they want to do or spend it with their family and friends. And we can take a lot of things off your plate.
Yeah, no, that's a really important solution. I mean, I have a rental property and we rented it out to somebody who had a dog. And after they left, I probably needed your service.
Oh, we could have helped. Yeah, I think, COVID was really interesting for us because all except for one of our brands, house cleaning, everybody else was deemed essential the entirety of COVID. So what we saw right off the bat was, the more that people are in their homes, the more they realize maybe some of those like creature comforts that aren't exactly functioning at 100% that they want to improve on. So, we saw a lot of people reaching out to us saying, hey, this thing has been broken for a little while. Now I'm here all the time. So it's easy for me to let you in to fix it. And then we saw in some of our other brands, where there was historically seasonality, specifically in the pool business, we had people calling to open up their pools in March and install pool heaters to get their kids out of the house and into the backyard because they just
Yeah.
needed more living space, right? So,
Yeah.
so overall, COVID was great for us, but like I said, the trend has been continuing that people want to outsource stuff they don't like to do. So I'm assuming we're going to keep heading in that direction.
So it's an interesting one. I mean, Heather, you've seen this company really evolve and expand in all these different areas. But I mean, certainly the last couple of years have been a moment where it's evolved in perhaps a different way. I'd just be curious to see what learnings you've had and the changes for your business and perhaps the opportunities that have appeared for you guys.
Yeah, I think one of the things about our businesses, especially if I think about maybe the last 6 to 9 months, that's been really critical is, we were kind of just talking a little bit about the demand side, right? Like the demand side is through the roof. One of the things that's been a really big focus for us is employee recruitment and retention at the location level.
Yeah.
So like if you can imagine, right, like having our franchise owners create great places to work so that they can retain staff, so they can handle all of this demand really is a huge area of focus for us right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, we see that across the board, certainly recruiting talent. And there was a kind of a massive shortage and this kind of idea of people shifting to new roles. I don't know how that's going to play out over the longer term, but I mean, it kind of leads me in my next question, which is, here we are, we find ourselves in 2022, and when we're hearing things about maybe some shifts in the economy, who knows? What does the back half of 2022 look like for you guys?
Yeah, I think that's interesting. We thought with COVID, because demand just went so high, we thought that maybe we were pulling through demand from 21, like, everyone's home in 22. So maybe 21 demand is going to go down. And part of the benefit, I guess, of being in emergency services is that things will continue to break. And most people aren't going to sit and suffer in a house that's 90 some odd degrees in the summer if their HVAC system goes down. So I think for us, being that so much of our business is emergency based, we'll probably be well insulated. But I think
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting, in some of our businesses that are more disposable income focused, just to see how people choose to spend their dollars when the market's a little tighter. It's a little unprecedented, so we will see. I'll say one of the things that we're really trying to focus on with our owners is just maintaining an amazing customer experience on some of those disposable income brands where it's a recurring customer. So like house cleaning, pool cleaning, mosquito control, we come back, over and over and over. So just making sure that as many times as we can have an amazing experience with that customer, that's what's happening, so that we can hopefully retain them through whatever the next 6, 9, 12 months holds.
So one question I have for you, I mean, I love the brand names that you have. I mean, Mosquito Squad. I mean, these are great brands that you've either picked up or developed over the years, which I love. Is there any kind of cross-selling that you see on these brands?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So we actually have kind of an interesting franchise system in that, we actually have about 7 to 8% of our franchisees who own our businesses own more than one brand. So that creates a really amazing cross-sell dynamic, because if you can imagine, as an owner of a business, you have a vested interest, right? And kind of the cross-sell across the 2 or 3 businesses you own. And there is some really great natural synergy between some of our brands. Operationally, on our side when we're thinking about how we manage this many brands. We're structured by kind of type of service. So emergency, indoor, outdoor, and we see a lot of great cross-sell opportunity, especially like in the outdoor brands. If you have a pool that's getting cleaned, then you probably could also use mosquito control. So just really trying to get our owners to collaborate with each other, showing them and giving them great resources to use to cross-sell, and then doing everything we can from an infrastructure perspective to make sure that the customers we have know about our other businesses.
That's great. I love that. And I remember many, many years ago working on a project where we were trying to do similar things. The project was with expectant mothers. And so expectant mothers thinking about bundling the products that they would all need from different brands together and selling them together. Is there a lot of data work that you guys are playing around with these days?
Yes. I try not to fall into the analysis paralysis situation. I'm really fortunate. One of the benefits of having all of these brands kind of under one umbrella is that we can afford resources that as like a single brand you might not be able to afford, because we have kind of the combined savings in some areas. Like creative is a great example. We have a centralized creative team, so everyone spends a little less than they would have previously on creative. That opens up some budget for us to have a marketing data analysis team, which is great because they live and play in databases and Power BI, which is amazing for me to be able to have that much data just readily accessible. But it's really fascinating, the volume of homes that we're in on a daily basis is just insane. And so thinking about, what are some of the threads we can pull on in terms of similarities in customer base or messaging that resonates from brand to brand. There's just so much data. It's exciting, and it's also at times a little overwhelming.
A little overwhelming. I know. And I think finding the pieces, the nuggets that are the most valuable is the key. And it's great that you have those resources and teams. And I love the fact that you're able to pool those resources together. Heather, you're working on a lot of amazing stuff. If someone wanted to reach you, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, the easiest place to grab me is just on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn all the time, so it's a safe place to try and get me. So Heather McLeod, McLeod, McLeod like the Highlander. You can grab me on LinkedIn.
Excellent. Well, Heather, it's been great talking with you. We've been speaking with Heather McLeod. She's the Chief Marketing Officer of Authority Brands, which is the parent company of over 12 home service franchise brands. I've already gone through them. They're all amazing. I tell you, if you have any home services needs, I think these folks have you covered. Heather, thanks so much for being on UNCAGED, and we look forward to having you back.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Cheers.